Hello and welcome. I'm Gargi Rawat and you're watching me on youtube.com/NDTV, the site to go to for all the videos and shows from NDTV. So let's just take a look at the top news stories that we're tracking at this hour. And right now, once again today, there have been various protests across the country over the Citizenship Amendment Act. Right now in Mumbai, you have two protests taking place, two gatherings taking place. One is a protest against the Citizenship Amendment Act, but the other is a gathering. It is a gathering that is in support of it, to show that there are people who are actually in support of this Citizenship Amendment Act and are supporting what the actions taken by the government. So very interesting. They're both taking place in South Mumbai. One is at Azad Maidan, and the pro-CA rallies taking place at the August Kranti Maidan, just around 4 kilometers apart. So let's just take a look at some of the details of these rallies. Now remember, both have seen a big turnout, I have to say, so that's been interesting. Both have had a big turnout. There you can see the Tiranga also being shown at that pro-Citizenship Act rally, and their Savarkar posters also. Their former Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, is at this rally which is taking place, to show that the people actually in support. A lot of nationalistic songs were also playing. There were sloganeering of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. So this has really been a pushback that we've seen this week by the BJP, by the government, to show that there are people who are actually supporting CA, since it is the anti-CA protests and marches that have really caught the eyeballs and, the optics of it all. So there you have yet another pro-CA rally taking place. Earlier, in fact, Devendra Fadnavis earlier this week even led a pro-CAA rally in Siliguri. Remember, that's one place where Mamata Banerjee has been holding a protest rally almost every single day against the Citizenship Amendment Act, as well as the NRC, and now the NPR as well, the National Population Register, as that is something that the government has said it's going to go ahead with. And there are a lot of suspicions regarding that because of some new questions that have been inserted in the form, which many are saying are the questions which are actually going to be used for the National Register of Citizens. So there's a lot of pushback against the NPR as well, and many saying that NPR is the first step towards the NRC, and that's what some of those who are attending the anti-CA rally right now at Azad Maidan are saying. However, at August Kranti Maidan, many of them are saying that the CA is only to help people from Bangladesh, Pakistan and Afghanistan who have come to India, who are illegal immigrants, and it's just to, and they're persecuted in their own countries, is what's being claimed, and that is why they need the CA to fast track their citizenship process. Now also interesting is that as we said, on the stage, Veer Savarkar's portrait was there, and his grandson Ranjit Savarkar is also expected to be there at the August Kranti Maidan today, where the pro-CAA rally is taking place. So that's quite interesting to have these two rallies taking place so close to one another. In fact, Devendra Fadnavis even got confused and earlier tweeted that he had arrived at Azad Maidan, which was quickly deleted because that's where the anti-CA rally was, and then he tweeted that I have arrived at the August Kranti Maidan rally. Now in Delhi today, we've had two protests in the morning, in the day, in the earlier part of the day, and one was at Jama Masjid. Again, remember, this is where last Friday we saw big protests taking place. So once again, at Jama Masjid, there was this big protest, and there you can see a big gathering as well. We've been told Section 144 is there in several places in Delhi. So at Jama Masjid, as you can see, it was a peaceful rally. This is again protests at Jama Masjid. Also, there was at Jor Bagh in South Delhi, where you also had a protest, again a peaceful protest taking place near the Dargah there. So two protests earlier today, and currently what is happening is that at UP Bhavan. There was a protest called at UP Bhavan by the Jamia student organization, and various citizens groups also had planned to go there, but it's been under very, very high security. So you have a big police contingent out there, barricade, you have water cannons as well, and in fact many of the students and those who want to participate who are arriving there are being picked up even as they just get off their vehicles. One girl even tweeting that she was picked out from the auto rickshaws that she was sitting in. So the security determined not to allow that gathering to take place. It was a protest against what's being seen as police brutality in Uttar Pradesh after several reports have come out over the last week regarding the police's action. Remember, there were violent protests last week on Friday in Uttar Pradesh. In many of the towns, there was stone pelting against the police, there were clashes, and after that there are also reports of the police then cracking down on Muslim majority areas, reports of them going into houses. NDTV has in fact spoken to many people where this has happened, and 21 people were actually killed in those protests. Remember, the UP police initially claiming not one bullet was fired, but NDTV then finding out in Bijnor that where the SP admitted that yes, one young man who was killed in police firing, though they claimed it was in self-defense. So a lot of stories still emerging from Uttar Pradesh, but thankfully today it seems the Friday prayers have gone off peacefully. So we haven't seen any sort of any reports of violence or anything emerging from Uttar Pradesh today. Also remember, there's been a big crackdown on the internet as well. So the internet is not there in several districts of Uttar Pradesh, the same like it was earlier last week as well. Now, Rahul Gandhi has hit out again at the government over the NRC and NPR, and he's now calling it a tax on the poor people. He said it's a tax on the poor people, and he's attacked the government over this. So what does he mean by this? Now, what he's saying is that, like in demonetization, many of the poor people are the ones who had to line up and suffer and lose money, and it was a tax and a burden on the poor people. Similarly, he says in NRC and NPR, it's also a tax, because at the end of the day they're going to have to prove their pull out documents and pay a certain fee, etc., or you go around to the offices of various bureaucrats to get their documents and to ensure that everything is in order. So he's called it that it is a tax on poor people. He says demonetization was a tax on poor people. Go to the bank, can't take money from your own account. He says people will have to go to officers, show their documents, give bribe. They'll have to give bribe if there's a slight mistake in their names, and crores of rupees will be pulled out of the pockets of the poor and will be given to the same 15 people. So that is what Rahul Gandhi has claimed, but we saw the government there hitting back over this. Amit Shah, in fact, has hit back at Rahul Gandhi and at the Congress. He says the Congress is just spreading rumors, and he's also hit back over the protests over the Citizenship Amendment Act, and he's saying that that no one will be stripped of their citizenship. The Congress and company are spreading rumors that the citizenship of minorities will be taken away. This was at a rally in Shimla in Himachal Pradesh, and he says, I challenge Rahul Baba to show even one clause in the act that has a provision to take away anyone's citizenship, and that is something that the government has been hitting back over. But remember, the issue of course is after CAA to bring NRC, and that is something that many have questioned. They've said because then that makes it easier to target the minorities who will not have the safety net of the CAA. Now, once again, today you've had another incident coming out, another story emerging of a foreigner being asked to leave. Now, remember, this is after the German student who was at Madras IIT, who participated in an anti-CAA demonstration, a peaceful one. He held up a banner there, and he was asked to leave IIT Madras, even though he had another semester. He was told that being a foreigner, you violated your visa rules, etc., etc., and he was asked to leave. And now a Norwegian tourist has been asked to leave after protest pictures on Facebook. It also makes one wonder how closely they're monitoring people's social media. So a tourist from Norway questioned recently after she shared photos on Facebook from a protest against the citizenship law, revealed on Friday in a post that she's been ordered to leave the country or face action. She says an officer from the Bureau of Immigration showed up at her hotel and would not leave until she bought a flight ticket home. Now, this is what she has claimed in this Facebook post. So very, very worrying really that people's social media is being looked at so closely, and then another tourist, so first you had a German student and now a tourist being from Norway being asked to leave after participating in those protests. So these are the big stories that we're tracking today. Remember to log on to youtube.com/NDTV for all our videos and all the news of the day. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.